Hello. Excuse me. How you doing? My name is Deborah. I was supposed to record this yesterday. I tried to do it live. I tried to do it on my phone. I tried to do it on. I tried to do it multiple times, and I stopped because it kept cutting off. So now I'm trying it again because I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Please excuse my hair. I'm a little self-conscious about my hair. You got a bad attitude today. But I want to speak to you guys about putting your coat on. And I'll, explain that to you a little bit in just a second. Um, I'll start with my story and then we'll go from there. My daughter is my muse, my inspiration, my external conscience. She is also a serious piece of work. This morning, in the midst, well, it's yesterday morning now, but in the midst of getting her minion costume on for school, I continuously reminded her that we're late for school. And since she was so excited about her costume, she was choosing not to wear a coat. And after minutes of Layla, put your coat on, Mom, I don't want to put my coat on, she finally says to me, Mom, I got my coat on. And as she says that, a memory comes to mind of when she was a little younger, maybe two. Um, she would put on her coat, her boots, or shoes, whatever one was easier at the time, and she wouldn't wear any pants. Then she would come running to me and say, Mommy, I got my coat on. I got my coat on. And I would say, okay, so where are you going? As I'm laughing because you just totally dressed with no pants. But do your thing. So I'm saying this to say oftentimes we find ourselves in very frustrating situations. We don't know how to get out of it, but we have to make sure we have our cope on. Because your circumstances are contingent upon where you're going and what God has called you to do. Okay. I'm new to this. Bear with me, bear with me. I believe that I'm called to work with those with childhood trauma. I have some childhood trauma of my own, and that's why I feel like you got to go through some stuff in order to deal with the people that God wants you to deal with. Because if I lived in a different circumstances or a different situation as a child, it wouldn't be from the heart, and I wouldn't be able to sympathize or empathize with the people that I work with, or if that makes sense. Um, as adults, we are often told to get over it, but we do not realize that we are living in a world with grown-up children. And I mean, when we become adults, we don't shed our childish ways. We develop, we grow into them. We don't stop being children and start being adults. We gradually progress from children to adulthood. Um, we either develop in our childhood or we are suppressed in our childhood. Um, so if we are suppressed in our childhood, it usually is sit down, be quiet while you're always doing stuff, blah blah blah, you bad. Like if you're an active child, if you're developed, your parents take notice of the things that are showing in you. Um, for instance, the class clown. If you embrace the need for telling jokes and interacting with others, they can become a comedian or the talkative person in class, finding a position in communications. That doesn't always mean that you have to like become a millionaire or anything like that. Like if you like to cook, you could be the best cook in any capacity that you want to be. If you like to tell jokes, you can be however, it still shines a light on people and changes the atmosphere. Children are raw and uncut purpose. So we have our purpose at birth. We have our purpose at birth. And I'm going to give another example. If you have a child who is always breaking things, we see children breaking things, and we see it as breaking things. They may want to see what's inside, how it works. The mechanics. They may be scientists. They may be architects. They may be contractors. When you see these things, pay attention and try to explore it a little more. If our God-given purpose is not developed in our childhood, we spend many of our adult years wondering what our purpose is when it's been with us since the womb. My cousin always laughs at me because since I was pregnant with my daughter, I've been saying that she will be a dancer. She loved to dance in the womb. And like, she probably think I'm joking because like I can't tell the difference between a dance and a kick. But I know the difference. Some people would come to me and put their phones on my stomach and she would just start dancing. You know, getting in love on top with her song. Even today, I find that if I need to redirect her behavior, I'll start singing or I'll start beating on the table and she'll just start dancing. She can't help herself. She just stops, start dancing. She'll either join in with the song or whatever the case may be. Even if we're in the streets or if a car goes by, we're walking down the street, she will stop and start dancing. This is not to say that we have one gift or one purpose, because she can also make an excellent argument as well. So I'm like, yeah, she's a lawyer and she's drawing, she's an artist. I don't know which one, but it doesn't have to be one thing that she can do. So now, since I see this, I'm making an effort. She's in ballet class now. She also loves languages. You can't tell her she can't speak Spanish. And I found a school in the city. I'm hopefully she'll be accepted to be enrolled for kindergarten in the Spanish immersion program. That's the one I want for her. But they offer Spanish, Russian, French, Chinese. Any of these will be awesome. One thing that I've also realized about her talents and her gifts are these are all the things that I wanted to do as a child that I was not able to do. I love to dance, but now I'm a little too self-conscious to dance. I would say that we are a prime example of development versus suppression. I love to sing. I was on a choir, but it was never how I wanted it. It would be like, I was raised kind of like, sit down, shut up, be seen, not heard. And now that my purpose is kind of to be seen a little bit, it's uncomfortable to transition from being seen and not heard and, going like, hi, I gotta speak to everybody. How you doing? Hi. But it's an interesting experience, and I love it. But Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. A lot of times we use the scripture and say that it is the church. I agree. Church. Your child needs to be connected with God. Yes. But it also means that it is is the purpose. If God gives you purpose from birth, if you raise them up and the way they should go, their purpose should be developed so that they don't have to try to find it later. It's our job to see it. So it's our job to know it. Our job as parents is to invest. All children are not the same. So you cannot look at other people's children like, dang, they sitting down, they read, they do this. Everybody learns differently. Everybody learns differently. And we can't always tell what it is. We easily categorize our children as bad or overreactive, and then they want to medicate them. Your child don't learn like that, it's not going to be beneficial. It's not going to be beneficial. So you need to learn your child. We need to learn our children. And if you don't know, you can research this. It's not always evident. Like I say, we have children who are really, really busy. They might need to be in a martial art. They might be in football. And if you have a son and you feel like your son should play football but he don't want to play football, that's fine. Find what he does like to do. Put him in a book club. Something like that. And I know that for myself, money is an issue. Money is an issue. So I'm like, Lord, how am I going to put my child in ballet? And I just started a GoFundMe, and the word really, really got around. And I really appreciate the people who gave, because she's in ballet. She loves it. She loves it. She loves it. And I would just encourage you to do the same. I really do. There's a lot of free programs out here. There's subsidies and things like that. You can get your child involved in things. And on top of that, it also gives you a break. If your child is involved in activities, you can get a break. I like breaks. So, what does this have to do with coping, you say? I'm speaking to your inner child. Come out and play. It's time to come out and play. The kingdom needs you. For those of you who have suppressed childhoods and had to cope with trauma, in order for your purpose to come forth, it will hurt. It will be confusing. People will think that you're crazy. They will not understand you. So why would you want to go through this? Because 9 times out of 10, if you're not fulfilling your purpose, you probably aren't happy. You're comfortable, but that doesn't mean you're happy. Your purpose is usually the thing that you would do for free. And it's just a plus to get money for it. Now, if you love to make money, that should drive you more to do what you need to do. See, I'm a little different, because money doesn't drive me, and people really look at me like I'm crazy. But I'd rather sit with people and talk to people, and I like my freedom. I like the ability to move. So I'm not really a 9-to-5 person. So when I tell people, they're like, girl, get a job. And I'm like, okay. I really do have a job, though. I really do have a job. I'm just saying. It just doesn't impress me. It doesn't impress me. If I'm not comfortable, I will leave. Because I don't want to live my life for money. Because when I'm on my deathbed, I'm not going to be laying there counting my money. I'm going to want memories with my children. I want to travel. These are all the things that I'm going to reminisce on when I'm on my deathbed. I can't take my money with me. So you can, do all this on my casket and all that, but I ain't going to be able to do nothing with it. I want to start, a fund for my daughter and all that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, I want what God has for me. So I'm going to follow it. So why would you want to go through this? I digress. Because, my friend, when you lose sight of purpose, when we conform to adult standards of the world, God leaves us with vision. Things that you have on your heart that you can't let go. And when you feel like you're comfortable in the stage that you're in, you'll still be antsy. You'll still want something more. You'll still want to do more. For instance, I had a job with the school district of Philadelphia. It was a good job. I'm like, this ain't for me. They're like, girl, you got benefits. You doing this, you doing that. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It was in line with what I was supposed to do, working with children with autism. But it wasn't it. It still wasn't it. It was a stepping stone. So people were just like, girl, you're out of control. Which is fine. When you are comfortable, and when you're comfortable, you're like, okay, I finally feel like I'm at a place where I can relax. That thing will call out to you and turn your world upside down all around. Like, you think you're about to sit here and do nothing, you got another thing coming. But you have two options. You can fight it or you can go with it. Everybody will not see your vision. That's why I say that they're going to say you crazy, they're not going to understand you. Everybody will not see your vision. They won't. And an example was given to me in my reading of wearing glasses, right? If I put my glasses on someone else, they're not going to be able to see. It's going to be blurry. So what I see, everybody will not be able to see. My glasses are tailored for me. My purpose is tailored for me. My path is tailored for me. So when it calls out to you, it'll cause you to move in ways that you do not understand. The people will say, but you're doing so well. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? You going crazy. And I keep saying crazy because that will be the word that they will use. If they're not saying it to you, they will say it behind your back. And I'm not saying it to be scary or whatever the case may be, but this is the reality of the situation. And I'm saying this from my experience. So, like I said, everybody's path is different. Everybody's path is different. What works for you may not work for me. But it's nice to get like a guide and some examples of what possibly could happen. News flash. You haven't gone crazy. God is calling you. So listen up. John 15:16 says, you did not choose me, but I choose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, that your fruit should abide, so that whatever you ask in my name, he may give it to you. I have been in Baltimore since February. I have not had a job until September. When I tell you that God sustained, this is my apartment. Like, I haven't had a job. I once heard, or somebody told me, those he ordains, he will maintain. And it is the truth. And it will get close. And it will get scary. But I promise you that God will provide. He definitely will provide. Okay. Things will fall apart. In order for your purpose to come out, things that do not belong must move, either voluntarily or involuntarily. So I'm going to give you another example about my life. When I moved from Philly, I left everything. The whole apartment, everything. I left it there. But I tried to go back. And it was not working. And I really had because I got afraid. Like when you take a faith walk, a leap of faith, you're going to want to turn back. But once you give God your yes, it's like, no, you can go back, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to feel the same. You're not really going to want to be there. Like, it just wasn't the same. So the door was closed. You didn't come back in. And I was upset about it for a little while. But it is what it is. Like, I'm happy that I pressed forward. Okay, Bora, I get it. When this happens, how do I cope? Alright. First, get connected to God. In other words, listen to yourself. Quiet all external noise. Let's not forget, he put purpose in you as a child. So how do I hear? Listen to yourself. Listen to your heart. God lives there. Secondly, pray. Pray for strength for the journey, guidance, understanding, and wisdom. Third, write it down. Write the vision. Write your feelings. What I found is once you start listening to yourself and being purpose-led, the people you used to get advice from just don't make sense anymore. What used to be fun isn't fun anymore. One thing that surprised me is that the food I used to eat didn't even taste good no more. Like I'm vegetarian, and I used to love me some roast beef and some bacon. Like it just don't feel right. It's just not right. You don't want anything to make you sluggish or sad, or anything that is just not good. It's not good for your body. The sight of meat still makes me nauseous. God will send you people who will understand a part. I will say a part of what you're going through, because as I explained before, everybody cannot see your vision. They cannot see your vision, but they can understand a part of your vision. They may not be going where you're going, but they may be in line with where you're going. So a part of what you're going through. No one will understand all until it is over when they see the manifestation on your life. 4, remember that trials are temporary. Temporary does not mean easy. Does not mean easy. Actually, when you give your life may be more difficult, or it may be harder. I mean easier. More difficult or easier. Everybody's path is different. I'm giving examples from me. So if you have any questions or comments, I'm open to them. And I think that's it. Okay, so this is the last thing I forgot. When the reason why it's difficult, so I keep saying that it's difficult. As someone with a suppressed childhood, with childhood trauma, with transitioning from suppression to development, you're now developing as an adult in ways that you should have developed as a child. So now you have life going while you're developing. You have things that you've learned that's coming around while you're developing. You have to unlearn a lot of things that you've been developing. And things, so if your purpose is here, we're going to say that your purpose is here. There are things piled on top of it. So in order for purpose to come out, these things have to be lifted up off of it. And it'll be confusing. It will be confusing. Because as adults, okay, we're adults, right? We got it all together. We know what's going on. But it's like, okay, maybe not. What? I've known this for so long. So you have everything up. So you have to look these things in the eye. So they're not just being lifted, and you have to face them, because the only way that they're going to go away is if you say, hey, I know who you are. I know how you made me feel. You gotta go. Thank you. Bye. That doesn't mean you forget, but it affects you in a totally different manner. You still have these experiences, but it is not affecting you in the same way that it used to. For instance, I had people, when people get this close to me, it makes me defensive because of the things that have happened to me. I don't like people this close. And I didn't like eye contact because of something that happened to me. But now, as I'm like, okay, I can defend myself now. I'm no longer a child. So I can defend myself. That is one thing to say, one method of growth that is needed when you are letting things go. I can defend myself. I have that power now. So I don't have to worry if people are this close to me. I don't have to worry but it doesn't make me combative. And I still have boundaries, but it's definitely not as bad as it used to be. I think that's it. So I hope you guys like this video. I know it was long. It's new. I'm gonna try to make more videos, and then I'll find my niche in this thing. But thank you for listening. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please leave it in the comment box. Like it, share it, all that stuff. Bye-bye.